Hello everyone, I'm Geek Freak and welcome to the video. Guys, I cannot wait for Bleach to return in October. To those of you who don't know, Bleach was part of the big three back in its heyday. There was Naruto, One Piece, and of course Bleach. And you would get the big three fandoms shitting on each other like saying, oh, Naruto is the best, or oh, Bleach is the best, or One Piece is the best. And of course there would be the verse battle discussions. And the best two out of the big three when it came to like verse battles would be Naruto and Ichigo. Because, well, Luffy isn't exactly a planet destroyer, so yeah, it was obvious for Naruto and Ichigo to fight each other. I mean, come on, it's a samurai versus a ninja. Even though I call bullcrap on Screw Attack's data on Ichigo, they got Ichigo's data completely wrong on that fight. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Bleach. Not One Piece or Naruto, it's just going to be Bleach. And just to let you guys know, I am a huge fan of Bleach. More than I am with One Piece or Naruto. Yeah, I do love Bleach more than I do with Naruto or One Piece. And back in the day, people used to shit on Bleach all the time, saying, oh, it wasn't a good series, or oh, they defeated Aizen, so well, what's the point of it carrying on? The Fullbring arc isn't that good. And everybody was just dumping on Bleach. I mean, yeah, sure, don't get me wrong, there were those annoying fillers, but one or two of them was good. But like I said, loads of people was dumping on Bleach. Anime News Network, other YouTubers, and both the Naruto and One Piece fanbase was dumping on Bleach. And at first, I didn't understand why people would dump on Bleach. But as the years went on, I kind of understood why people was dumping on Bleach. Like I said, the Fullbring arc, the fillers, people complaining that there's another rescue mission in the Ironclad arc, even though One Piece has about two or three or four rescue missions. Hey, I'm just saying. And to be honest, I was kind of sort of following behind the bandwagon of people shitting on Bleach. I mean, don't get me wrong, I wasn't on the bandwagon when it came to like, yo, shitting on Bleach, but I kind of understood where people was coming from when it came to the complaints of what was wrong with Bleach. Again, I wasn't on the bandwagon, but I did understand why loads of people were dumping on Bleach. And one of those things was the fillers. And the fillers were absolutely atrocious when it came to Bleach. I mean, the bounce, the new squad captain, the Zanpakuto Toast Spirits. Although, to be fair, I do like the Zanpakuto Toast Spirits. I just love the Zanpakuto Toast Spirits designs. And it was a okay filler story. But I think the main problem as to why so many people hated it was because sometimes these fillers would come between an already existing arc. Like, there would be an arc after the fight with Ichigo and Grimmjow, a small arc in the fake Kurakara town. I think the Bound arc came after the Soul Society arc, and that arc was just a repeat of the Soul Society arc. And this must have been frustrating for people who just wanted to see what happened in the next episode. I mean, you know, like in the canon that was following the manga. I mean, imagine watching Bleach from the beginning all the way to the end of the Soul Society arc, and you've just watched one of the greatest arcs in any anime ever, and then suddenly a huge filler arc comes along. And I mean, come on, you don't want that. You want to know more about Aizen, and what is he up to, and what's going to happen after Ichigo gets home from the Soul Society. But then, we are given an arc that lasts up to like 44 weeks. Yeah, 44 episodes. That's like nearly a year. And that is just the Bound arc. But in total, the number of fillers are 163 Bleach fillers. Now, there was some fillers that I did love, like the Zanpakuto Toast Spirits, and there was like one or two episodes with Donkanoji. I really do like that guy. And you know what? I wouldn't mind so much when it came to the fillers. But when you come off an arc like the Soul Society arc, like the rescue, the fights, the mysteries, the big reveal near the end, you're totally invested and you want to see what's going to happen next. But we are given fillers. And yes, I understand that the fillers are there to prolong the anime so the mangaka or Kubo can get ahead of the anime. And you know what? I completely get behind this. Kubo needed some help to get ahead of the anime. I get it. I mean, some fillers were cringy, some of them I liked, some didn't make any sense. But look at it this way. You know the Dragon Ball Z movies, like Dead Zone, The World's Strongest, Lord Slug, The Tree of Might, etc, etc. Most, if not all these movies, can fit into the main series of Dragon Ball Z, but instead they are in a other dimension or a different timeline. What I'm trying to say is, let's just say for example that you didn't like the Bleach fillers. You could put the canon and the fillers separate from one another, and the fillers could be their own continuity. Because, I mean, come on, some of these fillers don't even make sense when it comes to putting them in good timelines. So yeah, I'm going to stop right there when it comes to the fillers. Now, let's talk about how everybody kept on saying, oh, the Waco Mundo arc is just a recycled story of the Soul Society arc. Okay then what about One Piece? That had like 2 or 3 arcs that had rescue missions. So why aren't you guys talking about that. Okay, moving on. And loads of people were saying, oh, the series should have stopped when Ichigo defeated Aizen. There's nothing else to tell after Aizen's defeat. I mean, what else could Kubo say in his story of Bleach? The main bad guy is gone. Well, I'll go into details later on. There's just one more thing I want to talk about before I go into detail on that. And the other thing was the Fullbring arc. Now, when it came to the Fullbring arc, everyone was saying, oh, why is this arc so long and stupid? And the main bad guy is just your run-of-the-mill villain. And his hatred for the Soul Society is just stupid. He hates the Soul Society because they were spying on him. The Fullbring arc was a stupid arc. Again, like Aizen, the Fullbring arc does seem to have its problems, but I'm going to tell you guys the ups of the Fullbring arc, and not just this arc, but I am going to give you guys a list as to why you should give Bleach another chance. Now, I will try, emphasis on try, to keep it spoiler free, as to why newcomers should give Bleach a try, or the people who heard it from other people who says, oh no, Bleach isn't good, oh no, Bleach isn't good. I'm going to ask you guys to give Bleach another chance, and to the haters of Bleach, I mean, I don't understand why there are haters of Bleach, but I'm going to assume that they're One Piece and Naruto fans, or some other reason. Or maybe you're just one of those people just gone to the bandwagon because it was the popular thing to hate on Bleach. To all the people that I said in this video, I'm going to give you guys a list of reasons, and yes, there's also the fact that the manga was rushed, because Kubo was told to finish the manga in 5 chapters by his editors. And yes, even the Bleach fans didn't like this ending. There were so many things that wasn't explained, people's bonkais that we never got to see, and other things that we didn't get to see. But the manga might be coming back, and there's also the novels. Those things have questions to answers that we never had. But I do agree with the ending of Bleach's manga because I was really angry when that happened. So I do agree, but that wasn't Kubo's fault. It was all Shueisha's fault. They were the ones to force Kubo to finish the manga in 5 chapters. But at the very least, we had the novels to explain a few things for us, which I will get to. Now, before I go on to say why you should give Bleach another chance, I want to talk about the Soul Society arc, from the beginning all the way to the end. Now, the whole idea in the Soul Society arc was for Ichigo to go and rescue Rukia, because in the beginning, it was Rukia who saved Ichigo and his family because Rukia lent her powers to Ichigo. And over time, they became friends, and they would hang out. There would be a Monster of the Week sort of thing going on there. I mean, around this time, loads of people was thinking, oh yeah, Ichigo and Rukia are going to get together, because they were hanging out so much. And loads of people wanted this to happen, you know, for Ichigo and Rukia to get together. And if you saw the end of the manga, apparently that isn't the case, and loads of fans wasn't happy about this. But I was okay with it. And there was the whole thing with Koan, and defeating a few Hollows, meeting Uryu, and then we meet Renji and Byakuya. Ichigo faces off against Renji, but Byakuya takes out Ichigo. I mean, here's the thing, Byakuya was a captain, one of the highest ranks of being a Shinigami, and Renji told Ichigo that they're going to take Rukia back and they're going to kill her, because it was forbidden for Soul Reapers to give their powers to a human. Now, this is old relevance as to why it is forbidden for Shinigami to give their powers to humans, but I'll get to that later. And then Ichigo swore to go and save Rukia, and Kisuke was training Ichigo, and there was some suspense over that. And there was Urahime and Chad that had their own powers, and then there was Uryu, who was a Quincy, and they all decided to go and save Rukia alongside Ichigo. And when they get to the Soul Society, there was so many things going on in this arc. Gonju joins Ichigo, and then there was Inotaro that joined Ichigo. Everybody's all split up, and they're trying to find Rukia. While they're split up, Chad was on his own, Urahime and Uryu was together, Gonju and Ichigo was with each other, and Hinotaro joined Ichigo and Gonju later. And again, there was so many things that was going on in this arc, and it wasn't just Ichigo and his friends trying to find Rukia. There was other things going on in this arc, with the captains, the lieutenants. We got to know a little bit about them. There was Gin, Ichimaru. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention, in the beginning of the arc, Byakuya Kuchiki told Rukia and Renji that Rukia will die in the next 44 or something days by execution, but as the arc goes on, Rukia is told that the execution is getting moved up more and more, so there was suspense over that. And it wasn't just that, there was suspense everywhere in this arc. Like, everybody was split up, they could have ran into captains like Kenpachi. I mean, yeah, they did run into some captains, but not only that, there was also a mystery to this arc, and it was revolving around Sasuke Aizen. And everybody believes, well, nearly everybody believed that Ichigo and his group was responsible for Aizen's death. And some people thought, oh, it was Gin who killed Aizen. And then there was Ichigo's fight with Renji. And just to let you guys know, I'm going through things out of order, not in order. And like I said, there was loads and loads of things going on in this arc. You was worried about the main characters, there was the mystery with Aizen, and there was Ichigo going to fight Renji. I mean, there was so much in this arc that was just so goddamn good that I think, and now in my opinion, I think everybody hated Bleach because it had this arc. Bleach is possibly the greatest arc in any anime ever, and I'm pretty sure that the Naruto fans and the One Piece fans wanted to get on board because they were jealous. Okay, I'm just joking. I'm just trolling. But in all seriousness, the Soul Society arc is the greatest arc in any anime ever. And then there was the execution with what happened near the end of the Soul Society arc. I mean, yeah, I know it's been about like 14 to 13 years since Bleach came out, so you guys know what I'm talking about. But to newcomers who hasn't seen Bleach, I highly recommend you guys go and check out that series first, and then as soon as you've done that, come back and listen to me talk about Bleach, because I don't want to spoil it. So I'm going to go into spoilers. 3, 2, 1, and go. Now I'm going to assume that you've watched the series Bleach. Going past the Soul Society arc, and this old revelation with Aizen was just absolutely insane and freaking awesome. Ichigo's rescue of Rukia, everybody was fighting, the revelations, a lot of things was going on in this arc, and I'm just going to say it, no arc after Bleach has ever came close to being as good as the Soul Society arc. And to be honest, I actually believed that the Soul Society arc was actually the peak of incredibleness that Bleach had. Like I said, there were so many things going on, the fights, the mystery, the rescue. I mean, my god, the rescue was awesome. And the execution, it was absolutely incredible. I absolutely love the Soul Society arc. And to be honest, as the series went on, I actually agreed that non-filler arcs after the Soul Society arc would be able to surpass the Soul Society arc. Now, that's not to say that the other arcs was bad. I mean, the non-filler arcs were actually fan-freaking-tastic. Ichigo's fight with Grimmjow, Ichigo's fight with Ukiura, Ichigo's fight with Aizen, getting everything all set up to fight against Aizen, Ichigo's rescue of Urahime. And after the Soul Society arc, everybody was thinking, okay, so Aizen's the bad guy and he wants to take over the world or get more power or something, and Ichigo has to defeat this guy. And don't lie, we all thought that, oh, Aizen was the big bad and nothing else matters. We were all concentrating on Aizen. And to be honest, I think that was one of our major flaws when it came to watching Bleach. We all just assumed that Aizen was just the big bad and Ichigo has to defeat him, and then the series can end, and then there was no need for Bleach anymore. And I think, now hear me on this, I think there was many people out there who thought, after the defeat of Aizen, I think there was some people out there who thought that the creator of Bleach, Kubo, was just dragging on the manga. This is what I assumed that people were thinking. I mean, hell, even I thought, okay, so if Ichigo has won this fight against Aizen, then what else is there? You've gone up against somebody who has this stone or this cube or whatever that can grant you any wish. I mean, even before Aizen had the Okyoku, this magic granting orb, Aizen was extremely powerful. I mean, come on, he took down a few captains when he was exposed. Sanji, Komamura, Itsugaya, and it is said that Aizen has mastered every single Kido. It is assumed that Aizen has peaked himself, and there was no other way of getting him stronger unless he had the Okyoku, and the Okyoku gave him the powers of a hollow. And later on, it is said that Aizen is getting a lot more stronger even when he's in that chair in the 1000-Year Blood War arc, thanks to the Okyoku. So, near the end of the Soul Society arc, it has been stated that Aizen was the mastermind of absolutely everything, and he's also responsible for other things later on in the series, all according to plan. So yeah, after all this crazy stuff with the Soul Society and Aizen and the mystery and the fights and the revelations, and then the build-up with the war against Aizen, and then Ichigo goes to Wako Mundo to go and rescue Horihime and fight the Ironcars, and then there was the fight with the Espada through 3, 2, 1, and surprise, 0. And then there was the fight with Aizen, and then poof, Ichigo wins against Aizen, and Aizen gets sealed away for about 20,000 years. And then we get a few arcs later on. Now, I've been hearing people say that the series should have ended with Aizen being defeated and Ichigo loses his powers, and that's where Bleach should have ended. That's what some people have been saying. Some people have been saying that, oh, it would have been perfect if it was just left there. Aizen's been defeated, and anything else after that is just prolonging the manga, and I'm not including fillers. And of course, there was the Fullbrings in the anime and the manga, and everybody was saying, oh, there was no point to the Fullbrings. What was the point of Ichigo having his Fullbring powers just to have it all taken away, and then his Soul Reaper powers come back? And Kugo Ginjo is a terrible villain. Okay, not exactly terrible, but at first, he just seems like a generic villain. And then after that, we hear about the backstory of the Fullbrings, and Ginjo's backstory from the Soul Society, how he killed loads of Soul Reapers, and we the audience assume that he's just a bad guy. And guess what? Ginjo is actually the reason why it's forbidden for Shinigami to share their powers with the humans, because Ginjo was the very first substitute Soul Reaper. So from meeting Ginjo all the way to the end of the anime, we all just assumed that Ginjo just wanted more power, and again, he was the reason why that it was forbidden for Shinigami to share their powers with humans, because he was using Shinigami powers to kill other Shinigami, and he messed up Ichigo really badly, I mean like psychologically. So after when Ginjo was killed, we see him in the Soul Society arc, him alongside other two Fullbrings that were killed by Kenpachi and Byakuya. And you would have thought that he would have gone to hell, Ginjo I mean, alongside the other two Fullbrings. But they're actually in the Soul Society in the 1000-Year Blood War arc. And speaking of which, we also have the 1000-Year Blood War arc. Now, there's a lot of things that's in this arc, like the Quincy's invading the Soul Society, the Fullbrings coming back for about like a page or something, Ichigo and the others going to save the Yoronkars, Aizen comes back, and there was the Soul King, and then there's Yuoch. There was a lot of stuff in this arc of Bleach. And then we get that infamous ending that was rushed thanks to Shueisha. And to this day, I have never ever forgiven Shueisha for what they did to Kubo and Bleach by forcing Kubo to end the Bleach manga in 5 chapters. And it was a terribly rushed ending for Bleach. But thankfully, about 5 to 6 years later, Kubo made a chapter of Bleach and it looks like it's going to revolve around hell. So maybe the manga might be coming back. And I know what some people are going to say. They're going to say, oh, why are they bringing back the manga? They shouldn't have started it again. There's nothing else to talk about within Bleach. What's the point of Bleach coming back in manga form? There's nothing else to talk about and they're just prolonging the manga story. In fact, it should have ended at Aizen and his defeat. There's nothing else that's important than that. And to be honest, when Bleach came out and I was watching it, like the Bleach fan I am, I was thinking, okay, what was the point of carrying on with the story if Aizen has been defeated? I mean, come on. This guy gave us the best twist ending, aka best arc, ever, and the manga should have ended with his defeat. And that's what most people have been saying. And even I was questioning, why continue the manga if the main threat has been defeated? And like I said, there was the problems with the fillers, and the problems with the Fullbring arc, and how Ginjo was just a vanilla villain, and the rushed ending in the manga. And those were some of the reasons as to why people kept bashing Bleach. Either that, or you're just a Naruto fan or a One Piece fan, just bashing on Bleach. And over the years, even I was angry at Shueisha because they forced Kubo to end the manga as soon as possible. And the fact that Kubo stopped the manga Bleach and he was allowed to make a new manga called Burn the Witch. I mean, I was freaking angry. The fact that he had to end Bleach and then he says, okay, I'm going to make a new manga. I mean, yeah, I was really angry. And I swore to myself I would never watch anything that Shueisha would make ever again because of what they did to Bleach. And some people say that Burn the Witch is actually a sequel to Bleach. And even if that's the case, I refuse to watch it or read it because of what Shueisha did to Bleach. Stupid editors. But again, thankfully, the Bleach manga is coming back. And hopefully it's going to be something about hell. And yes, I know we already had a movie about hell in Bleach, but this is going to be manga canon. Okay, now, I'm going to get to the bone as to why I made this video. And that reason is why people should give Bleach another chance. And yes, Bleach does have its problems, like the rushed ending, which wasn't Kubo's fault, and there was the fillers, and so on and so on and so on and so on. And even though the Bleach manga stopped, I did make a few videos about Bleach, like what would have happened if they beated Yuoch, like what will come next. And there was also my Bleach theory, everyone eventually goes to hell. And there was a few videos of me talking about Naruto versus Ichigo. Now even though my passion of Bleach was there, I also had my resentment towards Shueisha, the company who forced Kubo to stop the manga. I mean, the passion for Bleach was there, but at the same time, my resentment was there as well. And just thinking about Bleach's rushed manga ending just really ticked me off. I mean, over the years, I've been thinking of making a few Bleach videos, but every time I think about Bleach, I always think about that stupid ass manga ending. I even thought of an idea on how they could have made the Bleach Hell movie better, but I never really got around to doing it. Like I said, my passion for Bleach was there, but I was just a tad bit too angry and upset because they forced Kubo to end the manga. And again, I have made a few Bleach videos, even after the Bleach manga ended. The motivation for me making Bleach videos was going slow, but if they am planning on continuing the manga with the Hell chapter, then this will give me plenty of motivation to make more Bleach content. And no, it's not to gain more views, so people will come to my channel, it's because the manga is returning, hopefully, and the anime is coming back. Like I said, I absolutely love Bleach, but the motivation wasn't there because I was just so disappointed that Shueisha would just force Kubo to stop the manga. I mean, you guys know what I'm trying to say, but now I have motivation, and I'm going to give you guys reasons as to why you should give Bleach another chance. There are loads of things in Bleach that went right over our heads that we've either missed or didn't take any notice of, or didn't think twice of, or just got completely forgot about, and didn't think it was important to the story. And yes, we all know that Aizen stole the spotlight, and we all thought that he was the important one, that we all thought that he was the big bad of the series. But there is more to this series than just Aizen and Ichigo. Near the end of Aizen's defeat, Aizen was screaming at Kisuke while he was being sealed, saying something along the lines of, "How can you defend that thing? A genius like you? Why would you defend that thing?" And Aizen was angry at this point. You could tell there was a lot of anger in his voice, because Aizen's plan was to get to the Soul Palace and kill the Soul King. And this brings up two things. Number one, loads of people kept on saying, "Oh, the series should have ended when Ichigo defeated Aizen." But again, this brings up two things. Number one, who is the Soul King? Why did Aizen want to get up there? And number two, why did Aizen hate the Soul King so much? And this is what I'm talking about. We have been so preoccupied of characters trying to fight Aizen because we wanted to see cool fights and we wanted Ichigo to defeat the big bad, that we never took the time to ask questions of what's happening in the series. When everyone said, "Oh, the series should have just ended when Aizen was defeated," well, let me ask you guys something. Did anybody here ever think to themselves, okay, why did Aizen hate the Soul King? Who exactly is Aizen? Where did he come from? What was Aizen talking about? Who is the Soul King? Are you guys telling me that you've never been curious about any of these questions or ever thought about any of these questions? And you just wanted the series to end there and then when Ichigo beat Aizen? Now listen, I understand there are some people out there that actually likes the mystery of Aizen. There are people out there who thinks that Aizen doesn't need a backstory, and his backstory should just remain a mystery. Well, to be honest, I say no to this because I wanted to know where this ambition came from. Like, when did Aizen learn about the Soul King? What made him go down this path? Why did he hate the Soul King so much? Who exactly is the Soul King? Now, some people will say that, oh well, it doesn't matter who the Soul King is because Aizen was the big bad, so it really doesn't matter. Well, technically it does matter. Now listen, I know for a fact there's going to be a lot of people out there that says that they don't want Aizen to have a backstory because it'll make him too soft, because they like the air of mystery to Aizen. The less you know about him, the more intriguing he is. And you know what? I can get beyond that. I do love the air of mystery when it comes to Aizen. But let me ask you guys this. Are you guys saying that it's okay for you guys to believe that, oh, Aizen was just the big bad because he screwed over some characters you liked? Or you just want him to be the straight up bad guy? You know, the old fashioned good versus evil thing? But if you look at the entire series, the majority of the characters within this series aren't just good and bad. Most of the characters, with a few exceptions, are complex. They aren't just good versus evil. You can see it throughout the entire series. And there's only ever been like 2 or 3 cases of where a character was evil. Like for example Shrieker at the beginning of the series. He just wanted to kill people. There is more than meets the eye. And this is the way I feel about Aizen. I think he's more complex than just wanting more power. I mean, look at Ginjo, Kugo. From the beginning to the end of the Fullbring arc, everyone thought that Ginjo just wanted more power. And we all thought he was just a straight up bad guy. But again, it makes you think, why the hell was he in the Soul Society if he was killing people? Well, in the novels, it gets very, very interesting. Because Ginjo wasn't an evil person. Because in the novels, it was told to us that a noble called Tokinada was actually pulling the strings behind the scenes. Tokinada actually made the Soul Society believe that Ginjo was the enemy of the Soul Society. And Tokinada got some assassins or Shinigami to go to the human world and killed some of Ginjo's Fullbring friends. And Ginjo, in retaliation, killed the Shinigami that killed his Fullbring friends from the past. And Tokinada made the Soul Society believe that Ginjo was a rogue, substitute Soul Reaper. He was just going around killing Shinigami for no reason. So the Shinigami actually believed Tokinada, believing that Ginjo was the enemy of the Soul Society. So the Soul Society declared that Ginjo was the enemy and a criminal. And you know what? The novels made Ginjo a hell of a lot more better. I mean, come on. When Ginjo says, oh, I went against the Soul Society because they were spying on me. And even I thought that was a stupid reason for Ginjo to hate the Soul Society. But the novels actually justifies Ginjo's hatred for the Soul Society because the Shinigami killed his friends and they declared Ginjo a criminal, and Ginjo wanted revenge on the Soul Society because of what the Soul Society did. And the Soul Society wanted to kill Ginjo because he was killing Soul Reapers. And these two sides didn't know they were being played by a noble called Tokinada. And in the novels, it was all cleared up. They found out that both the Soul Society and Kugo and the Fullbrings were being played and made to hate each other. And the reason why Tokinada did this is because he wanted a piece of the Soul King that was inside Ginjo and the Fullbrings. That was the reason why Tokinada killed the Fullbrings in the past and wanted to kill Ginjo. So instead of using his own Shinigami or assassins, he told the Gote 13 that Ginjo was killing innocent Soul Reapers just to make it much more easier and faster. And Ichigo doesn't know anything about this. Ichigo just thought that Ginjo just wanted more power. But Ichigo doesn't know where it really went on. And Ichigo just thought that Ginjo just wanted more power and he was just seen as a criminal by the Soul Society. And he mentally scarred Ichigo. So I guess those were the reasons why Ichigo took down Ginjo. But it was just all a big massive misunderstanding. And Ichigo didn't know anything about this even after it was all revealed in the novels. So did Ichigo kill an innocent man? And then later Ginjo is cleared of his crimes and he goes to visit Ukitake's grave, and I'm not sure what else happens to Ginjo and the other Fullbringers. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Near the end of the Fullbring arc, we all just thought that the Fullbringers were just people who got powers from hollows. But that's not the case. They actually had a piece of the Soul King inside of them that actually gave them their powers. And that whole thing with the Ginjo, at the end of that arc we all just thought, oh, he was just a vanilla bad guy. But it turns out that the situation with Ginjo is actually more complex than a crystal clear right and wrong. Because when I heard that this happened in the novels by other YouTubers, this made Ginjo's story a hell of a lot more better. It wasn't because, oh, he wanted to kill Shinigami because he wanted more power. He went against the Soul Society because they killed his friends and they saw him as a criminal, and the Soul Reapers saw him as a criminal because he was killing Soul Reapers, and both sides were being played by a noble. This made Ginjo a hell of a lot more interesting after when we found out what happened to him in the novel. And that's the thing, we don't ask questions on what happened to this character, what happened to that character, where did this come from, where did that begin. We were just spoon-fed cool fights. Now listen, there are things that are explained later on as the series goes on in the manga and in the novels, but there are things that we're never told about. But those questions might actually be answered in the new L chapter. That's if Kubo continues the manga. So I'm going to give you guys a few more things as to why you should give Bleach another chance. So we've obviously had Aizen, like who is he, where did he come from, what brought him down this path, why did he hate the Soul King? Some of these questions have been answered, but I think we might actually get the full story in the new L chapter when Aizen comes back in the L arc. So that's reason number 1. Aizen, who is he, where did he come from, why did he hate the Soul King, etc, etc. I want all these questions about Aizen answered, and they might be answered in the manga when it comes back. I mean, there are a few hints in the manga, but they are hints. Number 2, Ginjo. Ginjo in the novels made Ginjo a more complex character, and it gave us more answers as to what the Fullbrings are. But the question is this, how did pieces of the Soul King get into the Fullbrings? Because the pieces of the Soul King is within the Fullbrings. So how did pieces of the Soul King get into the Fullbrings? So that's a question that needs answering. So that's 3, Aizen, Ginjo and the Fullbrings. Now let's talk about Aizen's forgotten subordinate Tozen. Okay, I think forgotten is a strong word, but Tozen does have some significance to the story. So what do we know about Tozen? Well, he's a captain level Shinigami, he's friends with Sanji Komamura, he took down Uryu. Tozen and Sanji had a fight with Kenpachi, and in Tozen's past he had a friend who died. And I'm just going to tell you guys something now. I'm going off by memory here, so yeah. So yeah, basically Tozen hates fighting and he wants peace. And then later we find out that Tozen was actually working for Aizen, because Tozen believes that Aizen can bring about peace. Now, in the Soul Society arc, we just assumed that Tozen was just being delusional when he said, or we assumed that he believed that Aizen is the way of justice. Now, there's a video made by DBZ Armorin, and he does an analysis of Tozen, a very well made analysis of Tozen, and I highly recommend you guys go and check that video out, because that video explains who Tozen was, what he wanted to do, and what his backstory is. Now, I would say all the stuff about Tozen in this video, but this video has gone on long enough. But if you guys really want to know more about Tozen, please go and check that video out. It's really interesting, and it'll give you more information on who Tozen is. Now, since I'm going off both of memory and research, I'll just give you guys the basics of a summary from the first time we met Tozen to his death, and a little more from the novels. Okay, so basically, Tozen's friend gets killed by her husband, and Tozen wasn't happy about this because the guy who killed her was a noble, and that noble was ding 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 Tokinada. Yep, the same guy who made the Soul Society and Ginjo believe that the other was the enemy. So not only was Ginjo screwed over by Tokinada, but also Tozen's friend was screwed over by this guy, and apparently Tokinada just got away with it. Tozen actually begged Central 46 to do something about it, but They did absolutely nothing about Tokinada because he was a noble, and this is what made Tozen hate the current system of the Soul Society and the Shinigami. They did absolutely nothing to Tokinada when Tokinada actually killed Tozen's friend. And guess what? Tokinada was actually married to Tozen's friend. And after when Tozen was turned away by Central 46, Tozen was approached by Aizen, and after talking with Aizen, Tozen decided to follow Aizen. And Tozen has been on Aizen's side before he met Sanji or Isagi. And Tozen asked Aizen if he was to show any sympathy towards the Shinigami or waver in his resolve. He wanted Aizen to kill him. Now, Sanji always saw Tozen as his friend, and they got along well. And Sanji was also loyal to the Soul Society. And there was also Tozen's lieutenant, Isagi. And Isagi looked up to Tozen. He looked up to him and respected him. Tozen taught Isagi everything that he knew. Well, not everything, but you guys get the idea. And when Tozen left with Aizen, Isagi and Sanji swore that they will bring back Tozen, thinking that Aizen tricked Tozen, or he got his sense of justice twisted, and Aizen took advantage of that. Now clearly Sanji and Isagi is loyal to the Soul Society. It's been shown that Sanji is definitely loyal to the Soul Society, but they did say they would try to bring him back. And then when Isagi and Sanji faced off against Tozen in the fake Kurakara arc, one thing leads to another. And Tozen said something along the lines of, I cannot side with the Soul Society and die a meaningless death alongside other Shinigami, aka Soul Reapers, because the Soul Society let go the person that killed my friend. I was never on the Soul Society side, and one thing leads to another. And Tozen clearly wants revenge on the Soul Society, but Sanji is loyal to the Soul Society because he owes Yamamoto. And Sanji made it clear that both their versions of justice are completely different, so they were bound to cross swords. And Sanji said that taking revenge isn't the right way of doing things. But later in the Thousand Year Blue War arc, when Sanji went to go and visit his great-grandfather, and he asked him to give him more power, because he wanted to get revenge on the Quincy who attacked the Soul Society and killed Yamamoto. And also, it was said that Sanji's clan was all about revenge. Revenge runs in their blood, so really it correlates with Tozen. Sanji goes on to Tozen saying that, oh, don't take revenge, it's wrong. But Sanji does exactly what Tozen did. I mean, Tozen wanted revenge on the Soul Society because they let Tokinada go, and there was no justice for Tozen's friend. And Sanji wanted to get revenge on the Quincy because they killed Yamamoto and invaded the Soul Society. So, there is some hypocrisy here when it comes to Sanji. He tells Tozen that, oh, revenge is wrong, but Sanji wanted revenge on the Quincy's anyways. And when it came to Isagi, Isagi respected and looked up to Tozen, and even after the fight with Aizen and the Quincy's invaded, and after the Quincy's invaded, Kensai wanted to train Isagi so he can get his Bonkai out to fight against the Quincy's when they invade next time. And Kensai says, I'm not as gentle as Tozen, and Isagi says, I respected and looked up to Tozen, so don't badmouth him. And after hearing this, Kensai glared at Isagi, and just to give you guys a reminder, Kensai is actually one of the Vizards that was fighting against Aizen and assisted the Shinigami, and Kensai hated Aizen for what Aizen did to Kensai and the other Vizards, and obviously he would also hate Tozen as well. And to be fair, I'm not really sure how he would feel about Isagi telling him not to badmouth Tozen, but he's bound to be conflicted. Like, why would he look up to Tozen? He sided with Aizen. And then later on, in the novels, Isagi is actually the protagonist of the novels. Now, I'm not going to go through the entirety of what Isagi has done in the novels, because I haven't read the novels, but I have heard what other people have said of what happened in the novels. And the important part is where Aizen is going to be sealed up again, and this is in volume 1. And before Aizen is sealed away again, Isagi comes forward and demands Aizen to tell him what did he say to Tozen to get him on his side, Aizen's side. And Aizen said that Tozen was with him from the beginning, before he met Isagi or Sanji. So Isagi genuinely wanted to believe that it was all Aizen's doing. Isagi wanted to believe that it was all Aizen's fault for betraying the Soul Society. But again, Aizen said that Tozen was on his side from the beginning before he met Sanji and Isagi. And he killed Tozen out of mercy. I think even Tozen said to Aizen, if I ever try to side with my enemies, please kill me. Or something like that. And it kind of makes you think, doesn't it? Because there are a lot of things going on between these four characters. Tozen, Sanji, Isagi, and Tokinada. Because Tokinada is the noble that killed Tozen's friend, and he got away with it. Tozen's angry about this, and he joined Aizen so he could take down the Soul Society. Sanji is loyal to Yamamoto and the Soul Society. The same with Isagi. Isagi and Sanji tries to bring Tozen back, believing that Aizen must have brainwashed him or something. And Sanji and Isagi doesn't even look into as to why Tozen betrayed the Soul Society, even after his death. And again, even in the novels, Isagi thinks Aizen was the one who brainwashed Tozen. And even after Tozen's defeat, both Sanji and Isagi saw Tozen as a good friend. And in the novel, it has been said that Toginada, the person who killed Tozen's friend, dies in the novel. I'm not sure who kills him, but Isagi was there fighting him alongside other Quincy's, Shinigami, Arrancar, you know, that sort of stuff. But it does make you think, doesn't it? Tozen wanted revenge on the Soul Society, but Sanji wants to protect the Soul Society and Yamamoto. And Isagi just thinks that Aizen just brainwashed him. But later it turns out that Aizen wasn't brainwashing Tozen, and he was on his side from the beginning. And Sanji and Isagi doesn't even look into as to why Tozen betrayed them, even after his death. I mean, yeah, you could make the argument that both Sanji and Isagi thought that it was Aizen who was brainwashing him. But let me ask you this. Let's just say, for example, after Tozen's death, Sanji and Isagi decided to look into Tozen's past and tries to figure out why Tozen betrayed the Soul Society. And let's just say, for example, that they found out who killed Tozen's friend, and they find out that it was Tokinada who was the one who killed Tozen's friend and got away with it, and he was the reason why Tozen turned against the Soul Society. I mean, what exactly would Isagi and Sanji do? Because the Gote 13 are there to protect the Soul Society, the Soul King, and the nobles, because it's their job to protect the noble houses, the Soul Society, the Soul King, etc, etc. I mean, what exactly would they do? Would they just put their heads down and just carry on with their jobs as Shinigami, knowing the reason why Tozen betrayed the Soul Society was because of Tokinada? Or would they try and have Tokinada assassinated, or kill Tokinada themselves? I mean, what do you guys think would happen? But in the end, in the novel, Tokinada in the novel was killed, the guy who killed Tozen's friend, and the only reason that Isagi got to fight him was because he was up to no good, and that was the only reason that the Soul Society said, okay, we need this guy killed, because he plans on exposing the Soul Society to the human world. What I'm trying to get at is, there is drama between these 5 characters: Tozen, Aizen, Sanji, Isagi, and Tokinada. The thing is, you feel sorry for Tozen, because the person who killed his friend never got the justice, and that's why Tozen hates the Soul Society and wants to destroy it. But Sanji is loyal to the Soul Society and Captain Yamamoto, so Sanji wants to protect the Soul Society and help Captain Yamamoto, even though Sanji sees Tozen as his friend. And both Sanji and Izanagi wants to believe that it was all Aizen's doing, that Aizen brainwashed him somehow into joining his side. And Sanji tells Tozen that revenge is wrong, but it turns out that Sanji's clan is actually built on revenge. And Sanji wanted to get revenge on the Quincy's who killed Yamamoto and invaded the Soul Society. What I'm trying to get at is, there's drama here. There's betrayal, tragedy, sadness, denial, there's blind loyalty. Well, I wouldn't exactly call it blind loyalty, but it's somewhat close. Revenge. There is drama between these 4 characters. Tozen's backstory is fantastic and makes Tozen a lot more interesting. I mean, yeah, Tozen was interesting before, but this whole thing with Tokinada is just so goddamn good, because there is no right and wrong here. It's just one of those things. Someone got screwed over by the system, but somebody who is loyal to the system wants to defend it, and he's friends with a guy who hates the system, and the people who is for the system blames the other guy and can't bring themselves to believe that their former friend was their enemy. I mean, come on, this is fan-freaking-tastic. And there's other characters like this that has drama. There's Captain Isugaya, there's his lieutenant Rangiku, there's Momo, there's Ginichimaru, and there's Ginichimaru's lieutenant Izuru Kira, and not forgetting Aizen. Izuru is the lieutenant of Ginichimaru, Momo is the lieutenant of Aizen, Rangiku is the lieutenant of Itsugaya. Momo and Itsugaya are childhood friends. Gin and Rangiku, I think I would say maybe lovers, or maybe they just loved each other. You know what I'm trying to say. Gin is the quote-unquote subordinate to Aizen. Well, not really, because he was in disguise. He wasn't on the Soul Society side, and he wasn't on Aizen's side. He was only really loyal to Rangiku secretly. Gin just wanted to get close to Aizen so he could kill him, because he took something from Rangiku. I believe Aizen shaved Rangiku's soul when she was a kid. But anyways, these groups of people, besides from Gin, was very close. Captain Itsugaya was from the 10th Division, and Aizen was from the 5th Division, and both of their divisions were very close. Momo looked up to Aizen. Now, even though Rangiku and Gin was close, Rangiku considered Gin an enemy and a traitor, and saw him as a stupid man and she even said that she hates him because he sided with Aizen. But it kind of makes you think, doesn't it? You would have thought that she would have went with Gin if they were romantically involved with each other. But I guess her loyalty to the Soul Society comes first. But if you think about it, before Gin's betrayal, Rangiku was actually trapped between Gin Ichimaru, Hitsugaya and Momo. Hitsugaya didn't trust Gin, and Momo wanted to kill Gin because she thought that it was Gin who killed Aizen, and Rangiku is close to Gin, so it's a complicated situation here. And again, Gin isn't on the side of the Soul Society or Aizen. He just wanted to take revenge on Aizen because he took a piece of Rangiku. But here's the thing, after the death of Gin, I mean, what was everybody's thoughts on Gin anyways, after his death? Because it was clear, after when Aizen killed Gin, Rangiku was crying because Gin was on the verge of death. I think he even said that he loves her, and later after Aizen's defeat, it was shown that Rangiku still loved Gin. But what was the other captain's thoughts on Gin anyways? I mean, it was clear that Itsugaya didn't trust Gin and saw him as the enemy. I mean, hell, he was even going to kill Momo. I mean, did any of the captains ever acknowledge that Gin was trying to kill Aizen? Did the thoughts about him change, or did they just consider him a traitor, even after his death? I mean, did anybody still badmouth Gin while Rangiku was around, but she decided to keep quiet about it for the sake of other people's feelings? Because the two people who was affected by Gin's betrayal more was Rangiku and Izuru. I mean, did Izuru find out the truth? Did Captain Itsugaya's thoughts on Gin changed? In fact, most of the captains didn't even trust Gin. I mean, Rangiku is kind of like Isagi. Isagi looked up to Tozen and was upset when he sided with Aizen, and Isagi's now captain was even scolded by Isagi and told him not to disrespect Tozen. I mean, if anybody disrespected Gin, would Rangiku say, "Hey, shut up, don't respect Gin," or would she keep her mouth shut? I mean, yeah, of course, Gin wasn't on the side of the Soul Society and he wasn't on the side of Aizen, but Gin has done a lot of evil stuff, like killing other Shinigami and other things, just to gain Aizen's trust. So it is a complicated situation when it comes to Gin and Rangiku and everybody else. But when it comes to Momo, Aizen and Itsugaya, Momo really looked up to Aizen, and when he died, she went absolutely mental. I mean, she lost her mind when she saw Aizen dead, and Momo thought it was Gin who killed Aizen, and she tried to kill Gin, but Izuru stopped her, and it looks like it was almost a fight to the death with Momo and Izuru, and Itsugaya intervened and told Gin that if Momo's blood spilled because of him, that he'll kill Gin himself. And when it came to Momo and Aizen, even after his betrayal, Momo asked Itsugaya to help Aizen because she thinks that Gin is controlling him somehow. And Itsugaya is shocked by this, and it just cuts off from there. And when Momo does get to the battlefield of the fake Karakura town, and Rangiku is wary about Momo, Momo says, "Don't worry, Captain Aizen is the enemy of the Soul Society." Well, it seems that Momo has come to terms that Aizen is the enemy. She still refers him as Captain. But the one thing I want to know is, we never got to see that transformation from when Momo asked Itsugaya if she could bring back Aizen, or help Aizen when she was seeing him on the monitor. I mean, what changed her mind? We never actually see her go through the steps and accept that Aizen is the bad guy. I mean, that was off screen, and the Central 46 people was all dead, but we never knew who actually killed Central 46. Now, some people would say, oh, it was probably Gin or it was probably Aizen, but you know what? I think it was actually Tozen who killed Central 46, simply because they did nothing to help bring justice to Tozen's friend, who was killed by a noble. But yeah, I'm going off track. But hey, I'm just throwing that out there. I think it was Tozen who killed Central 46. But anyways, yeah, Aizen manipulated Momo so bad, even after his betrayal, she still wanted to believe in him. And you know what? That is an absolute tragedy. Now, some people will say, oh, this is just Stockholm Syndrome or something. But I still think that she still wants to believe in Aizen and think it was all Gin's fault. And this runs parallel to Isagi. Isagi wanted to believe that it was all Aizen's doing, that Aizen tricked Tozen to his side, and Isagi and Sanji wanted to bring him back. But as it turned out, Tozen was on Aizen's side the whole time, and Momo wanted to believe that Gin was the one responsible for Aizen betraying the Soul Society. But like I said, Gin wasn't on the Soul Society side, and he wasn't on Aizen's side, he was on Rangiku's side. And Tozen wasn't on the Soul Society side, he was on Aizen's side. And the only person in the old Soul Society that still believed in Aizen was Momo. But I think she might have actually gotten over Aizen a bit after his defeat. I mean, most, if not all the captains and lieutenants and other Shinigami are very interesting. All of them have their different beliefs, their connections with each other. Most of the captains are loyal to the Soul Society, without question. I mean, yeah, there's like one or two who doesn't like the current system, but they don't do anything about it. Again, like the execution of Rukia Kuchiki. There was Shinigami who was for the death, and there was some that was against the death of Rukia. And this got all the captains infighting, like Yamamoto versus Ukitake and Shutsui, Soifone versus Yurorichi, Kenpachi versus Sanji and Tozen. There was Gin versus Itsugaya. I mean, yeah, that had nothing to do with Rukia, but it was still captain versus captain. But just think about this. Let's just say, for example, that Aizen or anybody else was pulling the strings from the shadows, and Central 46 said, okay, Rukia will be put to death because she gave her powers to a Shinigami. And this rule was put in place because of Ginjo, because Ginjo and the Soul Society was pinned against each other. But both sides didn't know that they were being played. Anyways, all the captains were fighting each other because of the execution of Rukia. Some wanted to save her, some followed the Soul Society blindly, some didn't care. There would be a lot of infighting when it came to Rukia Kuchiki, and also Ichigo and his friends would be there as well. Again, like Sanji, he didn't care if it was right or wrong. He put his absolute faith within the Soul Society and the decisions of what the Soul Society said. And of course there was Ukitake, who was against Rukia's death. I mean, come on, all of this is interesting. And again, there's also Aizen. Now, there are people out there who says, oh, Aizen is a bad guy, he betrayed everyone and he wanted to gain power, and that was it. But the thing is, we don't know what Aizen's backstory is. Now, some people will say that, oh, we should keep his backstory a mystery because it's more appealing. Now, even though I do agree to this to an extent, but the thing is, I want to know more about Aizen's backstory as to why he betrayed the Soul Society. I mean, yes, later on, we find out later in the series that he hates the Soul King and he hates the current system of the Soul Society. But from what I've been gathering from the series, it seems to me that Aizen isn't really the bad guy we all expect him to be. Because here's the thing, the Soul Society is corrupt. It's not a nice place. The history of the Soul Society is a bloodbath. I mean, if I was to go through a list of things that's wrong with the Soul Society, I'd be here all day. I did make a video explaining what's wrong with the Soul Society, but there are a few things, well, quite a few things, that I've missed out or forgot about that should be on that list. So if you guys want to go and check that video out, please do. And to be honest, I wish somebody would make a video about all the things that's wrong with the Soul Society. You know, where all the souls live, like there's crime everywhere, there's poverty, out-of-date rules, captains killing their own squad, handing down death sentences to the Shinigami who was turned into Vizards, the original Sin. They were planning to make Ichigo the new Soul King. The original Gote 13 were murderers. Like, there are loads and loads of things wrong with the Soul Society. And I don't believe that the Soul Society actually cares about the souls that's in the Soul Society. I mean, again, there's crime everywhere. They don't care if the souls in the Soul Society ever meets up with their families again. There is a lot of things wrong with the Soul Society, and the Shinigami doesn't even seem to want to sort them out. In fact, the only thing that the Shinigami do is just to keep the world in balance, and that's it. Hell, even Mayuri killed about 28,000 souls in the Rukon district. I mean, come on, even Rukia knows that the Rukon district is a terrible place, and they do nothing to fix that. And I've been thinking about this a long time now. I can't help but feel that I actually want Aizen to change the current system of the Soul Society. In fact, the only two that hated the current system of the Soul Society was Tozen and Aizen. But the other Shinigami doesn't seem to care about the current system. So yeah, that needs to be fixed. And also, Aizen is still in Mugen. He's still there. And sooner or later, he's going to get out. I mean, did any of the other Shinigami ever think as to why Aizen wanted power and why he betrayed the Soul Society? It seems to me that the Shinigami just has blind loyalty towards the Soul Society. So yeah, basically, we need somebody to make a video to say what's wrong with the Soul Society. So, was Aizen really the bad guy here? Now listen, I know there was people out there who says, oh well, Aizen was the bad guy, and oh, Ichigo won against him, so what else is there? And we don't need to know his backstory. He was the bad guy and that's it. So hold on, you guys are telling me that you don't want to know more of who Aizen is and why he did it in the first place and all this other stuff that's wrong with the Soul Society? You don't want to know anything more? I mean, if you think about it, all the problems always stem from the Soul Society, not just from hollows or ronkors, because like Ichigo's father said, hollows are creatures of instinct. They do what they do. It's in their nature to do what they do. But the Soul Society is made up of rational humans. Well, souls, but you know what I'm trying to say. I mean, at the very least, in Hueco Mundo, there are Ronkar who's trying to bring peace to Hueco Mundo, like Halibel and Nell. They are one of the few Ronkar who's trying to bring peace to Hueco Mundo. And yes, I know the Soul Society is more or less more peaceful, but it's also very corrupt. This is supposed to be the place where, if you're a good person, you'll be able to go to this place. But it's overpopulated, poor, corrupted, it has a class system, outdated rules, and yeah, don't get me wrong, there are characters in the Gote 13 that we do like and are good people, but most of them don't even waver in their resolve to follow the Soul Society's rules. So was Aizen really the bad guy? I mean, come on, just think about it. I mean, there are a lot of things in this series that goes way over our heads. Like for example, you know Shusui? He's probably one of the most likable characters in the series. He was against the execution of Ryukyu Kuchiki, and even when he was fighting Chad, and when he thought he killed Chad, he said he was sorry. And you know Stark, the Espada, or Espada number 1? He was probably one of the most likable Arrancars, and you did genuinely felt sorry for him. But then, Shisui kills Stark, taking him out from behind. So, you've got one of the most likable captains who was against Rukia's death, pinning him against Stark, one of the most likable Arrancars, and he outright kills Stark. And yes, I know, this is war and people are going to die in war. And even Shisui even said to Stark that they're both very similar. And he even said, let's just pretend that we're fighting. And even Stark wasn't a bad person. He wasn't like Baragon, but even though Shisui killed Stark, I mean, I was sad when Stark died, but I couldn't really bring myself to actually hate Shisui. That's how much of a likable person he is. And also, Bleach also has this like duality. Like for example, you had the traitors. Within the series you had Tozen, Gin, and in the manga, Uryu. Now when it came to Tozen, he was never on the Soul Society's side, and he was Aizen's most loyal subordinate. And when it came to Gin, he was never on anybody's side, he was on Rongiku's side. He wasn't on Aizen's side or the Soul Society side. But when it came to Uryu, everybody was wondering, oh, why would Uryu side with the Quincy's? But as it turned out, the only reason Uryu betrayed Ichigo and the rest was so that Uryu could kill Yhwach himself. Uryu was just deep undercover. And also, you could also make an argument for Grimmjow. He went against Aizen's wishes and he went against Ukiura. Grimmjow betrayed Aizen so he could have his rematch with Ichigo. So really, there's a four-way duality here. Well, it's kind of like a duality. And there are loads of other things in Bleach that are interesting. You've got Unohana and her relationship with Kenpachi. The relationship between Kenpachi and Unohana is very interesting in the manga. Unohana feels bad for Kenpachi because she believes that she is holding Kenpachi back because, spoilers, Unohana was actually the first Kenpachi. Kenpachi fought Unohana in the past, and it was the best fight that both Unohana and Kenpachi ever had. And Kenpachi kept holding all his strength back because he wanted to fight Unohana again. And Unohana actually feels guilty about this. You guys are going to have to check out the manga to see what I'm talking about. It's really interesting. And there's also the duality of Aizen and Urahara. Now the thing is, with Aizen, when it came to Aizen, he wanted to change everything because he was sick and tired of the status quo and the corruption of the Soul Society, while Urahara was okay with everything staying the same. Urahara didn't want any change. Aizen even said that Urahara is actually a genius, and he even asks Urahara why he would allow the Soul King to continue existing. So really, they're kind of opposites in that way. And if you think about it, Urahara is very mysterious, and he does things for the greater good. Like, he purposely put the Okyoku inside of Rukia's Gigai. And also, how the hell did Urahara get a hold of a Okyoku anyways? I mean, yeah, I know it's his, and I know he created it, but from what we've seen from Aizen, Aizen shaved pieces from people's souls in order to create the Okyoku, maybe even killed people. So, how the hell did Urahara make his? Did he just shave little bits of people's souls in secret or what? In a way, I don't really like Urahara simply because he just wants everything to stay the same, like stay in the status quo, while Aizen was trying to change everything, even after when the Soul Society declared Urahara guilty of a crime that he didn't commit. And I know I already said something like this before, but there are a lot of things that's wrong with the Soul Society. So many, in fact, when I was making my video of what's wrong with the Soul Society video, or was Aizen right, there was a lot more things that I missed out in that video. Like for example, there's this place called the Maggot's Nest, and in this place, this is where they keep all the innocent people that the Soul Society has deemed dangerous. Yeah, this place actually keeps innocent people locked up and they haven't done anything wrong. It's kind of like Kenpachi Saraki. Central 46 told Captain Yamamoto not to train Kenpachi because if he was to harness his power and get even more stronger, and if someday, if he was to rebel against the Soul Society, it would be a huge problem. I'm not saying he will, but if Kenpachi wasn't a captain, I'm pretty sure that he would be put into the Maggot's Nest. And that's just another example as to why the Soul Society needs to change. Hell, even if a noble was to do something bad, they would just at least get a slap on the wrist and they would just get away with their crimes if they wanted to, like, kill somebody or something. Or if a captain even attempts to resign, he would be sent to the Maggot's Nest. Hell, the Soul Society even deemed the Vizards more hollow than Shinigami, and they was going to be put to death. Like, there are so many things in this series, both the anime and the manga. Hell, there is a lot more information within the manga than there is in the anime. Like, for example, when Ichigo was ready to go to the Soul Society. In the anime, it was Chad, Uryu, Orihime, and Yuririchi. And of course, Ichigo, they went to Uraora's shop. But in the manga, Kon was right there with them at Uraora's place. But he got left behind. So there's a huge difference between the anime and the manga. Not just story-wise, but censorship too. Like gore and violence, and limbs being chopped off, and more skin being shown. Like in the manga, Jidanbo the gatekeeper opened the gate for Ichigo, but he got his arm chopped off by Gin. But in the anime, he just slashed his arm. So both story-wise and censorship-wise, there is a lot more stuff in the manga that wasn't put into the anime. And also, we have that rushed ending in the manga that absolutely nobody liked. But thankfully, we have the novels Can't Fear Your Own World, where there's a lot of things explained in that novel. Like after the defeat of Yhwach, what happened to the Quincy's, the Fullbrings, the Arrancars, and the Shinigami, you know, all that stuff. And I'm telling you guys, it was extremely satisfying to know what happened. Like Ginjo and the Fullbrings, and Tozen's past, and the main villain. I mean, I swear, it was just wonderful. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, there are a few characters I wish I knew what happened to them later on, like what happened to the remaining Quincy's, because there's quite a few of them left. There was the Arrancars that was being controlled by Mayuri, and there was this like hybrid little kid that had like hollow powers, Quincy powers, Shinigami powers. Like loads of stuff happens in this novel. And it isn't just that novel. There's the novel Bleach, Spirits Forever With You, and the main character of that novel is Don Kanoji, and he has a relationship with an Arrancar. There's the Bleach novel called The Honey Dish Rabish something, and it's about Ichigo and his friends spending time in the Soul Society after Aizen's defect from the Soul Society. There's quite a few novels, to be honest, and when the anime does come back, I highly hope they bring in these novels into the anime. And it isn't just that. In one of the official character Book 3 Unmasked, there's actually a section telling us what happened after Aizen's defeat. Like, what happened to the remaining Arrancar after Aizen's defeat, like Halibel and her Friction, like how Horihime healed them, and there were some details about Ukiyora's backstory, and how there was a few moments with Yami and his dog, or a Spada at Zero. Like, there is a lot, and I mean a lot of Bleach stuff that wasn't made into the anime. Things in the manga that wasn't put in the anime, side stories, the novels that explains what happened to certain characters, and after the fight with Yhwach. All this is very, very interesting. And not only that, there's the new chapter where we see Ichigo's son, and we are told that captains are sent to hell because they're too powerful. And there was like these hollow like demons, and there was that scientist Espada that was from Mundo. And you know what? I am desperately hoping that the manga will continue, because if you ask me, I think this chapter is actually a teaser. You know, it might be indicating that there might be more Bleach manga on the way. And if that's the case, if the manga does come back and it's going to be centering around hell, then that's perfect, because we've already had the human world, the Soul Society, Mundo with the Arrancars, and then we have the Quincy's and their headquarters, and the last realm to visit would be hell. And yes, we've already had a movie about hell, but that's not really canon. And even though I thought the concepts of the Hellverse movie was really, really good and the animation was fantastic, but the execution to that movie was just bad. Like I said, we've had the human world, we've had the Soul Society, we've had Mundo, we've had the Quincy's, and the series would end with a perfect note if we was to explore hell and see what's going on in there. So yeah, that would be the last realm to explore, but there are loads of other things that isn't explained to us or we don't know about, or hang-ups, like Ichigo having rematches with characters like Grimmjow. There was the unseen bunkais, there's the noble houses to explore, there's Ichigo's heritage or lineage, the fact that he's actually a noble or he comes from one of the noble houses. There was the past wars, Ichigo's full power, true Bonkai power, we never got to see that. There was Ichigo's full being power that we never got to see alongside his Shinigami powers. There's the mystery of the Fullbrings power and how part of the Soul King got into the Fullbrings. There's the whole story of where everything began. Like, there is loads of stuff for this series to explain. And most importantly, Aizen. Like, what's his backstory? Where did he come from? What made him go down this path? Why did he hate the Soul King so much? And from what I've read, when Yhwach was killed, his body was put into a crystal state because he was the new Soul King. But that new crystal is only temporary. It will be unsealed in the next 100 years. So there might actually be a hint that your watch might actually come back. I mean, there are loads of things in this series to love. There are loads of mysteries in this, drama, awesome fights, cool music, and not forgetting Ichigo. For me, Ichigo is somebody that you can look up to. There's been loads of people saying that, oh, Ichigo doesn't have a goal. He's just a reactionary character. Well, here's the thing. Ichigo wants to get stronger so he can protect people. And that is Ichigo's goal, to protect the ones that he loves. I mean, yes, Naruto wants to be Hokage so everybody would acknowledge him. And Luffy wants to be king of the pirates and experience true freedom. And yes, I know it's admirable that Luffy and Naruto trains and keeps fighting in order to obtain their goals. But if you guys really think about it, Naruto and Luffy's goals are selfish ones, but Ichigo gets stronger in order to protect the ones he cares about. And if you ask me, I think that's actually more admirable and selfless. And when you see Luffy or Naruto reach their goal of being Hokage or the Pirate King, you feel happy for them, and you want them to achieve their goal because of all the stuff that they've went through. But Ichigo lives in the real world. Okay, not literally, but at times Ichigo wants to live a normal life, but at the same time, he wants to be strong in order to protect the ones he cares about. Ichigo doesn't want to be the Soul King, he doesn't want to be a captain, he doesn't want to exterminate every single hollow. Well, I mean, yeah, it is his job to do that, but he has met some very friendly hollows, or Oronkors, like Nell. Ichigo said that he isn't a superhero, and he's not out to save the world, but he has taken up the duties of a substitute Soul Reaper. Ichigo doesn't fight so he can prove that he's the very best that there ever was. He doesn't want to gain power to prove that he's better than everybody else. Ichigo doesn't want to get power to get acknowledged by everybody. He gets stronger in order to protect people. And that's what Ichigo is, a protector. And Ichigo is a lot more stronger than you think. The lengths that Ichigo goes in order to help the ones that he cares about is the most admirable thing about him. And yes, there are a few things more that I'd like to know more about Ichigo's lineage. I mean, hey, did you actually know that Ichigo and Gonju are actually cousins? I bet you didn't know that. We never got to see Ichigo's true power, because if the manga did continue like it was supposed to, I'm pretty sure that Ichigo was going to get even more powerful, and considering there's going to be an L arc, Ichigo might actually get even much more stronger than he is now, than when he was fighting against the Quincies. There are loads of things, and I mean a lot of things to love about Bleach. The stories, the drama, the music, the fights, the characters, and you know what, I'm just going to come out and say it. I think that Bleach is the coolest out of the big three, and I don't care what anybody says. Loads of people were making fun of Bleach back in the day, and loads of people kept on saying that, oh, Bleach is never going to return, the anime is never coming back, the manga is never going to come back, Bleach was stupid. Well, guess what? Bleach, the anime, is coming back, the manga is hopefully coming back, and Bleach gets one of the greatest arcs in any anime ever. And the only ones who has been shitting on Bleach are just Naruto fans or One Piece fans. The Bleach fanbase has been shitted on for a long time. But hey, look who's laughing now. We are. And the 1000-Year Blood War arc is gonna be awesome. So I highly recommend that all you haters and people who got on the bandwagon of hating Bleach, or to those of you who haven't seen Bleach and just heard bad stuff about it, I want you guys to give this series another chance, because there are a lot of good things in Bleach. Great stories, great drama. I was a Bleach fan when it first came out, and I'm a Bleach fan today, and I will forever always will be. So what do you guys think? Am I right? Am I wrong? Do you love Bleach? Do you hate Bleach? Will you guys give Bleach another chance? Please let me know in the comment section below. Let's get a discussion going. I'm Geek Freak. Peace out. Thank you guys for watching, and if there's a series you want me to check out and review and give my thoughts on it, or if there's a top 10 list you want me to do, or any reactions or responses or rants on anything geeky, just leave links and comments in the comment sections below and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Don't forget to like, subscribe, put the bell on, share this video, and leave a comment in the comment sections below. And as for my social medias, I'm literally freaking everywhere! I'm on most video platforms, social medias, forums, and support sites. It's best to pause the video and see where I am. Literally all of this is down in the description box below. So if you want to go and check those out, please